We see that the economy is closing and going down and down and down, and people are out of work, but the stocks seem to be going up, up, up. So maybe using this as an example, can you unpack this for us? Like
This is a
what's going
great
on here?
example. This is a wonderful example simply because it shows us how unrealistic and how corrupt the situation is. Because it's a beautiful sign of the greatest contradiction in our times. First of all, it's good that we're going through a lot of confusions. Humanity has been at its best during hard times. The best in us always comes out when we hit rock bottom. So from that point of view, I'm not really disheartened at all. From the economic side of view, the uptrend in the stocks is only for, I think until even next week. Look, take my word for it, make a note. Until next Thursday, we'll still have the market side up, and then we're going to have a fall until about the 13th of August. So the first 2 weeks of August should come down. Okay, so the market should come down a little bit. It should be lower than this week. They won't just crush it in one day or two because there's obviously interest in that. So what will happen towards we enter autumn is we'll see the stock market sliding further down, 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 and down. Okay, and 2021 will get even worse. So this forecast I did in 2019 around midsummer, and I actually predicted the 2020 fall as well by about, I was off about 10 or 10 days or 3 weeks or something like that before that crash in March. So this is going to carry on something like this. So we had a big fall, okay, and now they're trying to put Humpty Dumpty back together again. But all the king's men and all the king's horses, they're not going to put that back together again. Okay? If that rhymes for you. So Humpty Dumpty is not coming back. Okay, so it's cracked, it's broken, and these are the last patches they're trying to do, because right now printing all the money won't help either, because we're going through a global debt crisis. And when debts start defaulting, we'll head into hyperinflation zone.
So
Uh,
okay,
and
so
yeah,
yeah,
and
yeah.
many
So
countries are already in that zone. So it's not like it hasn't started. But the stronger economies get hit hard, but they get hit last.
so you
You
have
know,
in the United States, as an example, you have like $1.5 trillion in student debt. These are the strongest people, the most ones with the most vigor. They're in their 20s. They are ready to go. They're ready to, I mean, people aren't really starting families so much now, but they're ready to go out into the world and do something. And they're strapped with $1.5 trillion of debt, and there's no jobs available. Okay. That's
my
probably
recommendation, yeah, my recommendation is just don't pay. No
okay.
jobs, no loans back. Look, it's not rocket science. It's not rocket science, Seth. This is I used to be an insolvency professional in Australia, so I'm quite aware of insolvencies, bankruptcies, and so on. You can't demand from a person all kinds of payments back when the guy doesn't have food or enough money to pay his bills. Okay, this is just not going to work out. All right.
Okay. So
So the sooner we, the
you have
sooner
this.
we
Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
the sooner we get real, okay, about life and what it's bringing forward to us, we'll have an easier ride. Okay, but to wait and try to get things done and go back to the old ways when you got what 20% unemployment right now, it'll rise even more. Okay, these numbers will rise more. You can't expect these kids to go out, find jobs, and start paying their student loans. It's just not reasonable. It's just not going to happen. All right.
So
It's just a bad dream.
if you have this $1.5 trillion in student debt, and I think also the auto loans, you could buy a car in America now with no money down, and it's the same, another bubble just like that. It's probably also $1.5 trillion. So I mean, I guess a trillion's not really that much anymore. I guess it used to be a lot last year, 2 years ago, but today a trillion's not so much. But I'm joking. But so if you can't pay, if people aren't, and people are out of work, or if they need to pay for food first and house first and healthcare first, So that's a lot of defaulted loans, you know, that trillion and a half student loans and that trillion and a half auto loans. And um, that's a real big change that could
Yeah,
happen in just this economy here.
the whole world, mate. It's not just the US. The whole world's going downtown into Chinatown, and that's a place right now you don't want to go into. So these loans, when they get defaulted, all right, when they default, the market's not going to look, very amusing to anyone from the outside, because where's all that money going to go? They're either going to print more money, and this printing more money is a really dangerous thing for any economy, all right, because you're printing more money and more money and more money to cover debt when there is no economy to back it up. Okay. So it's going to cause hyperinflation in most countries. It already has in some lesser developed countries. And this hyperinflation means, you could be buying a loaf of bread for like $1,000. Okay, so you go with $1,000 in your hand just to buy a loaf of bread. It could really devalue money. So they have to come up with something realistic, and they have to understand these loans are not going to get paid back.